very good evening from Singapore, Dancing Festival 2020, and of course, a very good morning to our dear friends from Lima, Peru. My name is Danny Tan. It's my great pleasure to have a group of friends from Lima whom I really had the chance to meet up with them last year. So first of all, let me introduce the director of the show, or rather in terms of artistic director of Trudeau, Mr. Jose. Hi, Jose.
Hi, Danny. Thank you very much for this opportunity again. It's my pleasure to stay here. So, thank you for this conversation.
Would you able to help us to introduce your fabulous team who I met last year for your project Maquina 4?
Okay, perfect. Well, my pleasure to introduce my team because it's a kind of family. It's really good friends. So here we have to Pamela, to Fernanda, Raquel, and Rolly. Everyone is artists, Peruvian artists. Please, Pamela, Fer, Rolly, Raquel.
Well, hello everybody. Hi Danny. It's also a really great opportunity to be in dialogue with a country so far away, and it's a pleasure to be here in this morning. I'm Pamela, and I was playing the cello for the piece we are presenting in this festival, and I'm more of the musician child part of the collaborations. I pass the word to somebody else now. Thank you.
So we have Pamela to join us. Pamela, welcome.
Well, I'm also very glad to be here. Danny Tan, thank you for the invitation. And yeah, it was nice that you saw the piece alive. That's also a good thing. And I'm also glad that we, with this situation, with the online situation that we are all living, give the chance to be in connection with other countries, with other artists, and being part of this residence. Thank you.
Rolly, would you like to start to say hello first?
Yeah, surely. Hello, Danny. We're very happy to have this opportunity to talk about our work, and this with all this situation of COVID and the online relationships that we've made. I think we are seeing it now like an opportunity rather than an obstacle, and that's a new situation Crudo is experiencing. And I think many opportunities are coming now.
Fantastic. The last member of the team, Maria, Maria Fernanda, to introduce yourself, please.
Hi, everyone from Singapore, and hi, Danny, too. Thank you for this space, for this opportunity, as my friends already said. And yes, this is this is crazy because we're like far away from each other, but still like very near as a family and connected. Very much thank you for like due to this like situation, right? To this context. So no, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm Fernanda. I'm performer in the piece too, as well as Rolly and Raquel. And yeah, that's it.
Fantastic. It's such a great pleasure that, even though we are so far away and yet we're still well connected. And this conversation is about creative collaboration. Just to give you a highlight about what this residency festival is about, because of the COVID situation, we have actually used very creative solutions to find new ways to empower international directors to find ways to present their works, at the same time to create meaningful conversations and extend the life of their works beyond a space. So we're out of space, we're out of time, we're out of zone, but here we are to do the best we can to connect with people around the world. So just to begin with, I'm very curious because I saw the piece was very intense. If you remember last year, we had a great conversation after your show. Do you remember?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I was special guest in a way also to look upon how can the work can be further explored. And I'm very happy after a year later, finally we have a chance to continue our conversation. So I'd like to maybe to pose Jose, when you work on this piece, did you have in mind what sort of music you wanted, or what sort of performance you wanted, or what sort of art forms you wanted to incorporate in your work? Because you have live music cello, you have performance, and are trained in very versatile way. So did you have something constructed in terms of the piece in mind before, or depending on the artist you have, and they brought a kind of wealth of talents and knowledge for you?
I think if I will say something first and then you complete a little bit. I think that we didn't have an image or a preset conception of the work of the project that we were going to make. We start talking. First, we start to talk about some subjects we want to have like the seeds of the physical and the artistic work. So we try to make it to work in the piece within the situation, the experiences, and the development of the rehearsal. So the rehearsal was not we are going to do this. We were finding the way to develop the rehearsal with the talking, with the sharing, and with the training also. We start to create also with a really physical work and training.
So how did the music come into place? Because I understand that there was this live music composition, at the same time it was used cello as the instrument. So how did actually this Pamela talk about the whole process of the music composition?
Well, Rachel talked a bit about the development in this laboratory. So there was different instances where this piece was not this piece, but what was already being done with the piece, I think, was shown with different performers also from the side of the music. There was a singer sometimes in the past, and then when different performers came, the music also changed, of course. So my approach to this was to be part of the rehearsals also in the movement, and to try to understand music from the movement side. So I understood my playing of the cello, like the movements I was making and how my body was moving, and responding. And it started with improvisation, like I handled the piece I was seeing, the things that my co-workers were doing, as a partiture, as a sheet music to say, and I was reading this, and then with Jose I was talking about what worked and what didn't work, and also he has some ideas that come from also the dream world, and so we started composing, like in this part a little bit more subtle, not so strong, and in this part I want a classical piece, like an excerpt of a classical piece, and then I chose Bach because I really like it and I think it really fills all the space. So, and with this part, this classical piece of Bach, I just changed a bit, and I like also I saw it from the movement part, like the movement my body was doing while playing this piece. I like extracted it, and I played something a little different, but from the movement, like with the same kind of movement.
So how did Rolly, as a performer, then respond to the Bach music or cello improvisation at times? How did you respond to the music?
Well, we practiced with Pamela. in fact, Pamela gave us some music lessons and made me understand this whole world. And yeah, Pamela was saying that she tried to understand music from movement, and in our case, I mean, my case, I tried to understand music movement from music. So it was like the other way around, and in that relation, I think we connected in some stage, and I could in some cases feel like the flow, the rhythm of the music in my body, and it was there were some moments of special connection between music and movement that I really appreciate and made me understand movement in a more like holistic way, you know.
For in terms of the dance movements and materials which Jose gave you, was it something that your body is comfortable to do, or is it you find that you have to interpret his new vocabulary, or is it something that is a movement style that you practice with him for many years?
That's a question for me.
Yeah. So is there a kind of connection between your body language with Jose movement style? Do you think that it's similar, or you have to adapt, or you find challenging for the movement?
I think that we validate the diversity of movement, and in that case, each one of us had some qualities, some different qualities, and from that tools we. In our particular movement characteristic, try to understand and go with the music. So yeah, in some cases for me it was kind of difficult to follow, but then I could connect like some characteristics of my movement to some rhythms of the music Pamela was proposing.
I see. What about Maria Fernanda? Did you find any kind of challenges in working with Jose in interpreting the movement, phrases, or choreographic processes? Would you like to share about the choreographic process?
Yes, definitely it was challenging, right? Because Jose has this very intense power and very strong body, and his movement, his language is like a very particular one, right? I think something that helped a lot during the process was the living together and exchanging constantly our different type of movement languages, so that enriched a lot and also made it more humble to our own bodies. And some of the choreographic like sequences because there are a lot of different sequences were created also in collaboratively or co-created, and also with Jose point of view, Jose like specific indications of a more like static way, and some also qualities of movement, right? So yes, it's been very like an enriched process of learning new languages, exchanging a lot, sharing a lot, and trying to adopt that language to our own bodies and try to make it like our own, right?
So what would you think about the length of the process? Because I know it takes months and months of hard work. How long was the whole process from the very beginning and then till materialized to perform what I saw last year in Lima? So how long was the process, from very beginning till the showcase I saw last year?
Almost 3 years.
Wow, that's a long time. And the artist,
yes, 3 years, but the first part, on the first years, the team has other people too, no? So, well, 2 years is really the time of this process. 2 years, 3 years approximately.
I must encourage you that you have very patient artists who stayed long enough, and willing to invest their time and effort to really get into the processes and ultimately to discover your work, in terms of your workplace. I just want to ask, Raquel, what kind of maybe in the process of searching, were there any kind of moments that you felt you wanted to give up? Because it's so long, so tedious, and Jose is like, you must do it, So, you know what I mean? High expectation as an artist. Do you feel there's some point that you feel, okay, I have to take a break. Okay, I have to pause. So any one of you can share your experience. How did you overcome the hurdle to push on?
I feel that it was a long process, and I was from the beginning in the process with Rolly. In fact, Maquina 4 start with a sequence that Rolly and me made with some points and indications of Jose in a rehearsal that Jose couldn't be able to be there. So he said, like, I'm not going to be there, so do this, and we work. And that was the seed of the start. And that was 3 years ago or more. And I had the moments that I wanted to give up, and I feel it because not just because the discipline and the intensity of Jose, but also because we worked with our own experiences, our personal narrative and experiences. So it was always like being like an open heart, flower open with all the things that we as persons, as human beings live, with love, work, problems and different things that we live every day. We bring it together to the rehearsal and to the work. So it was difficult from that point, but also really rich because we had the chance to know each other in different ways. And I think that this kind of work also make us stronger as a collective, but also make a solid base in which we can work. And I feel that the fact that we work with our own experiences and our, like, not just discourse, not just words, but also like the body experiences, make us also understand each other. But in this connection of understanding it collectively, we set like a map of links between our experiences, and that was the content or the field in which we work with the sequences and with the more artistic contents.
Indeed, the work is so intense. I'm just wondering whether were you drawn out by the characters? I don't know whether, Jose, when you choreographed, did you have a specific characters in mind for your performance?
I think my kind of direction is most conversation. I see to the performer, and then in that moment I don't know. Beyond is a kind of channel,
Okay.
so my indication is no previous, is honest in the moment. I think I understand. You understand me? Yes.
Got you. But I'm just curious with the artist. Do you feel yourself being drawn emotionally, even though Jose did not set specific characters on you? But were you drawn by your own personal experience, by building your own character subconsciously? So the gentleman, do you have something that you would like to share? Rolly, do you think that you subconsciously build your character? Because I saw the piece, it had very strong sets. It had a big knife. I remember the chopping board. a kind of table setting. So there was some form of scenes, that involved in that kind of setup. So I'm just curious whether like Rolly, Pamela, or even the celloist, do you see yourself like inside, yes, as a performer, but you have a role or specific character that you subconsciously built? Rolly, maybe start from you.
What I don't understand is what do you mean by drawn into?
Okay, because it's very emotional, the piece. As you perform and perform, you have personal feeling. Sometimes it becomes you in the dance. So sometimes when you perform, you might just be performer, without any personal attachment feelings. But when you are drawn emotionally, it becomes a person. No longer just a movement, or rather a person just execute movements, but have feelings. So do you have a correct view?
Yeah, I think it's inevitable to be like drawn by what's happening because it comes from our personal experiences also. But I think at the same time, my mind as a performer is working on the organization more structural. So it's like conversation between the drawing in the emotion and being capable of see the whole structure and follow the structure. So it's like the two entities negotiating while performing.
What about Raquel? Do you think that you have unconsciously or subconsciously developed a character in the dance?
Yes, I think that in my case, with the experiences I brought into the process, I was like a tree. How do you say? Like a triangle of characters. I'm in the center was the woman, like the woman, the archetype of the woman. But then it was the chamana, the witch. How you say, the witch, and then the mother and the lover.
I see. Okay.
So that was work with different experiences I had with my mother, my sister, and my grandmother. So it was like a really big map that synthesizing these three characters.
So I can sense that each of you are bringing your own personal experiences into dance, and then you actually came together to look for new elements to join in. I'm just curious, maybe for Pamela, give us an idea from a musician point of view, because you play the music and you observe everyone in action, right? So share with us about what you see that unique creative elements that among the performers.
I want to see if I understand the question.
Magic about the creative collaboration among the energy among the dancers or among the performers. Because you as a musician, you could sit at the side or play your music, but you have the chance to look at them, while they're actually performing around you, perhaps sometimes.
Yeah, they were a big source of inspiration. For me, each of them had a very unique flavor in their movements, and because I was reading them to make my music, I also tried, or my mind was making a picture and trying to find some balance. Like Maria Fernanda was for me this incarnation of the source of life, like the willingness to be and the organicity. And Raquel was this very steady force of wisdom and the grandmothers, like she said. So yeah, for me she was like very a source of inspiration for the strength of what stays. And I couldn't automatically I see them also in comparison. So Raquel was this steady thing, and Mafer was this thing that moves and changes, and Rolly was this vulnerability of the humankind. So I was building these images and this yeah, like some pillars that also change within the piece, but they find a balance for me to make a music.
Fantastic. Maybe if I can ask each of you, perhaps to answer me in a very short sentence or one or two words. Tell me what, in your perception or in your opinion, what worked best as a collective, for your group? What works best? So maybe I start with Rolly. Based on the experience going through the process of what worked best up till now.
I think the community of a group gives us a lot of tools that we can use in creative process instead of working somewhere and then going to another human group. Now I know Rachel for many years, and I can feel, and I know how much she waits, for example, or what is she telling me with only a look. So we know each other in those ways, and that makes easier to connect and gives us more tools to create in space. So that, I think that's it's more than one word. I'm sorry, but I think that's key of a group.
So Rachel, what is the one word or a sentence of words that you feel the best for your collective?
Well, I really don't have a specific answer for this. I just can say that I feel Crudo as a living organism that is growing with all these people that has been part of Crudo and all the things we share. So I think that it's a living organism that has as a kind of it's a brain or a creative brain and a particular language with which we can create, but also as a living thing, a living being is always changing and always keeping attention of the context, of the social context or the inner context, and I would say that it's a living organism.
Wonderful. Let's hear about Maria. Pamela, what do you think about the best thing you would like to share about this collective you're working on for years?
For me, is the sharing of the different movement styles and also the different other things the people in this collective know. Like when I came in, I also shared what I know from music, and they everyone has an idea of what they know of music, so we shared also. And I could see that Jose's movements in Mafer were different, and she had his movements but in her own way, and Jose also learned from the movements of the other parts of the collective. So being together and exchanging and I think that works the best for creating and knowing each other.
Thank you. Fernanda, I'd like to hear your opinion about in terms of the things that happen so well for your collective.
For me, it's related to what it's already said, but I think one important factor that has worked a lot for us, or for me, is being the coexistence, the living together, the openness of taking and receiving what is given to us from the diversity of things, like, for example, music, for example, faith, for example, what we are watching in the streets, what can we see that it's special there, right? And also the sharing, the conversation, the listening to each other and feeling us a lot. I think it's been crucial for not only our work but also the coexistence of us as a collective, right?
Fantastic. This is how wonderful for me to have the opportunity to speak to all of you. I would like to have Jose to sum up the whole experience as creative collaboration, because it's not easy to creatively collaborate together over a period of time of 3 years. So Jose, share with us, what makes you feel, continue to work with this bunch of wonderful people?
Well, the new context is really, really, really hard for our conversation, because it's only virtual conversation. So the projects on the proposals has now different ways. So it's really new. The the new proposals, artistic proposals, has a new character. So, well, I'm not sure for where we will go, but for me it's always an honor share with these people different questions and different viewpoints, perspectives about the life. For me, it's really big learning experience. So, well, for me, it's always, how do you say agradecido? Thankful. No, it's for me, it's a big thankful share with this team. It's a wonderful team.
Thank you very much. With that, I have to thank our wonderful friends from Lima for sharing a beautiful, heartfelt conversation about creative collaboration. I look forward to your work on the 27th November on our Facebook. And of course, there are more to come along the way. So say bye to our international friends, all of you. And thank you. And I'll see you very soon somewhere. Bye, Rolly. And bye.
Thank you, Danny. Bye-bye.